What's up, Guardians? Glad to have you with Drew. And in today's video, we're breaking down a Prismatic Hunter build that has constant invisibility, amazing mobility, which equals survivability, which is going to allow you to conquer Grandmaster Nightfalls, Expert Lost Sectors, and take on all champions. But most of all, it's going to allow you to have fun the way a hunter is meant to be played. And if you're one of those players that also wants to stand at the top of the leaderboard, well, this build is for you too. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. The exotic class item for this build is best used with Spirit of Inmost Light. When using an ability, it empowers the other two abilities, granting us incredible energy regeneration. I found the best pairing for this build to be Spirit of the Gear Falcon. Our void weapons gain volatile rounds when we emerge from being invisible, which is going to be all the time. Now I know finding this perfect pairing can be challenging at times, especially with this game's RNG. But with the new feature allowing us to attune one specific role on a class item, Zura has been selling them every weekend, and the ability to farm them from Eva during the Festival of the Lost makes this very achievable. But don't worry, any cloak with Hoyle or Gear Falcon will do, and if you don't have either one of those, a Gear Falcon's chest piece still makes this one of the best Prismatic Hunter builds. The first aspect we'll be selecting is Stylus Executioner. When defeating a target affected by any elemental debuff, it grants invisibility and true sight. This even includes debuffs from members of our fire team. Invisibility is going to play a key role in allowing us to move all over the battlefield and take out the most deadliest targets, quickly and strategically. The final aspect we'll be selecting is Threaded Spectre. When using our class ability, we leave behind an aggro-grabbing clone. Ascension is a powerful move, however it does not activate Inmost Light. And while Winter Shroud's slowing effects can be useful, I promise you, when competing in in-game content, this clone will save your life. Being chased down by an unstoppable champion, the clone quickly gathers and gains all of its attention, and we are able to stun it quickly. Hunted down by the final boss in a Grandmaster Nightfall room? No problem. He's way too distracted by the clone, and we're able to slip away and continue to dominate. Jumping into our abilities, we're going to be starting out with Gambler's Dodge. I like triple jump for my PvE content, but that's completely preference. And then we're going to be selecting Withering Blade as our melee attack. This is going to grant us 2 Stasis Shurikens. Along with Inmost Light, we're going to be able to throw these all the time. They bounce between enemies and slowing them. It's also an easy way for us to turn invisible, and that's going to allow Gear Falcons to kick in and allow us to spread everything with volatile rounds. Our final ability will be the Grapple Grenade. This is the most essential and key component of this build. Not only does this cause an incredible AoE melee attack, it instantly grants invisibility. With proper mod selection, it immediately grants 2 Orbs of Power, but that's only the secondary focus of this ability. The primary focus of this ability is to find great positioning, and then use this positioning to complete tasks such as reviving teammates, taking advantage of Inmost Light to drop another clone, cause more distraction, and then use Grapple Grenade again to start a fresh fight when needed. Our first fragment we'll be selecting is Facet of Hope. While we have an elemental buff, whether it be Frost Armor, Invisibility, Radiant, with some weapons it would be Devour, or even Overshield if we're using Tether. This is going to be happening all of the time. This is going to allow us to pair this very well with Inmost Light, so we have our class ability consistently. Next up, we'll be selecting Facet of Dawn. Any powered melee hits are going to grant us Radiant, which is going to give us a nice weapon boost. Also, any weapons that aren't currently attuned to a specific champion is going to allow those weapons to stun barrier champions while Radiant. Next up is Facet of Solitude. Now in easier content, you might not even notice that this fragment is on. However, in in-game content, when you hit multiple precision shots, you will see a green burst. This is going to sever the target, making them cause significantly less damage. It's a quick and easy way for us to turn invisible, allowing our clones and all of our other aspects ground together to allow us to have excellent survivability while also having less damage hitting us and our fire team. To wrap up with the final 2 fragments, we're going to be selecting Facet of Protection. We're going to be using Grapple Grenades, so when we're close to enemies, this is going to give us extra damage resistance. This will increase when we are Transcendent. And then we're also going to select Facet of Purpose. Anytime we pick up an Orb of Power, it's going to grant us Frost Armor. This can stack up to 5 times. For our super, we're going to be selecting Silence and Squall. Now, I do recommend this for the current season we're in. It also just does a great job of freezing enemies. It does amazing chip damage, and it also just allows us to control the battlefield very consistently. You can use Tether because it's going to have the same cooldown and allow us to use our super as much frequently as possible, but I do recommend Silence and Squall because of its damage and area control. As for the seasonal artifact, it's not really that big of a concern when it comes to this season's impact on the build crafting, not nearly as much as last season's or previous seasons before it. Kinetic impacts is nice for your powerful grenade launchers to stun unstoppable champions. Just kind of make sure you're paying attention to your weapons based off of activity. It's not that important to actually enhance this build or really any build in my consideration as of right now. Now, jumping into the weapons, this is always going to be personal preference. Use what you like. There is no absolute obsolete. It's a video game. You want to have fun while you're playing. You can run around a Grandmaster Nightfall with Wishender, but that's really not that fun. So for me, my one main key is going to make sure your power weapon is always matching the surge that is for like a Grandmaster Nightfall or an Expert Lost Sector. And then as long as overcharge weapon is part of it, you're going to be able to have any of those weapons you select in the artifact get that 25% damage, regardless of what type of energy output that they are. Now, in particular, I love Graviton Lance. It's going to stun unstoppable champions. It works excellent with Gear Falcon. So that way, once we're turning invisible, we're going to be able to cause that spread very easily. If you have the Catalyst, it's going to come with Vorpal Weapon. And anytime we break a combatant's shield, we're going to get an overshield. And that's going to pair extremely well with Frost Armor. Now, I'm not a fan of scout rifles at all. So I do like shotguns to actually stun my barrier champions. Perfect Paradox from last season is excellent with dual loader. It's going to load 3 bullets at a time. And then you have Trench Barrel. If you were able to get this last season, this weapon is awesome. We're using our grapple grenade to get around the map very quickly. And it actually has great range when it comes to stunning barrier champions. Some other recommendations: Buried Bloodline is fantastic when it comes to volatile rounds, especially when you're just running around the Pale Heart or doing activities that aren't really focused on stunning types of specific champions. This gun is just absolutely incredible. It also grants us Devour. Roast with Onslaught and Rewind Wounds is actually incredible. You can use something like Lost Signal and get more of that grenade launcher from the seasonal artifact. It's really basically all up to you. Here's just a couple extra recommendations of some types of loadouts that I already have set up. As far as a gameplay loop is concerned, with Emos Light, we're going to be getting tons of energy regeneration, so we will have our abilities all the time. The basic keys to this is going to be getting invisible, using volatile rounds to destroy ads, using our clones at smart strategic times to draw aggro and stay alive. And Grapple Grenade is not only used for causing damage. Use this to get around the map and stay alive. This is a great way to get out of a sticky situation and be able to reposition yourself to be able to retake control of the battlefield. This is a strategic type move that's going to keep us alive. When using this for damage, make sure we're getting those enemies' health bars down a little bit more and harder content before using this. That's going to be the difference between dying and actually dominating it. This is going to be a great way of skill sets that once mastered, you'll be able to conquer any type of content with this build. Here's just a quick overview of the build one last time for anyone that wants to take screenshots. I will have links down in the description. As far as stats are concerned, went with tier 10 for resilience, obviously, tier 10 for discipline, and tier 8 for our class ability. With Emos Light, we'll be getting these abilities all the time. For mods, basically went with hands-on to get some super energy back from melee kills, avoid siphon, and heavy ammo finder. The key component to this, though, is heavy-handed and firepower. When getting a successful grapple melee kill, this is going to spawn 2 orbs of power. Chest piece is going to be business as usual, just the type of activity you're in. I love innervation and recuperation to get health when we pick up orbs. And then also for our cloak, just doing the classic powerful attraction to gather any orbs around us. Bomber, whenever using our class ability, this will give us energy back for our grenade. And then Reaper, anytime we use our class ability, will generate an orb of power after getting a weapon kill. And that's going to do it for today's build video. I appreciate everybody that stopped by the channel. I want to thank you. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and share. And anyone that wants to see more content like this, please hit that subscribe button. We're extremely close to 500 subscribers. It helps the channel continue to grow. Put a lot of time and effort in editing and testing these types of builds so that way they can be fun. I look very forward to seeing everyone's comments down below, and I hope to definitely catch you guys on the next one. Take care, Guardians.